Success drastically different.
Can you say something about when we talk about masculine and feminine? You touched on it in a very traditional perspective of intellectual and emotional, but can you say a bit more about the difference between those qualities and in the kind of healthy expression of that?
I don't like going there
Mm-hmm.
because it's a very good question, and it's a really important question, and it's important for me to say I don't like going there.
Yeah, you're welcome to say that. And you don't have to go there, but I'm still curious.
No, because it's like if you step back and go, okay, what do we mean usually by masculine and feminine?
Yeah.
What we usually mean is a polarity, and where the masculine is assertive, the feminine is passive, where we have rationality versus emotionality. We have a tendency towards agency, which means action on one's own behalf or motivate, and communion. All of these things are about roles that men and women have played for centuries, and even you could say before that. Women. I mean, culture was created in order to create context that made it more and more viable or likely that women would be able to bear children and children would be able to grow to maturity. So it's like this has been a very important role, and women have learned so much and created the human beings that we are. And then the men traditionally have created the context in which we are in, the cultures, the civilization, the stuff of it, and the processes of it, and so forth. So that's where you get this difference from. But the question is this use one of those awful words from philosophy, is it an ontological category? Meaning, is it something that is about an essence in being itself, or is it a habit?
And I think that in a sense is at the heart of my question. I think that's part of my curiosity to have this dialogue, because I'm curious. What is your sense of that, or your experience of that? Is there something in the essence of masculine and feminine which is not culturally created, is not an identity that someone takes on, or is there not?
I don't think we know. I don't think we know, and I'll give you an interesting example. So if you were to say, okay, I want to figure out like what the pure kind of qualities that come from male-female are. It's like, okay, how far back do we go? So you say, well, let's look at primates. Look at primates, and you say, well, we've got the dominant males, right? And then we've got the passive females that take care of the so there's got to be something essential there. Well, then let's look at our closest kin, the chimpanzee and the bonobo. So if you look at the chimpanzee, you go, well, that works, right? We've got the females that take care of the young, and we've got the male dominance hierarchy. We've got the alpha male. We've got a culture we don't do that anymore as humans, but it's sort of a template. Well, I mean, but when you look more deeply, you find out, well, actually the females have a dominance hierarchy themselves, that the females aren't passive at all. In fact, they've done studies where they have looked at, they've done DNA testing on the offspring in a chimp community, wondering, it's like, wow, wonder how many offspring that alpha male has, because he's the one that gets first dibs, right? Okay. So they go and they looked, and they were shocked. I think it was in the teens. Even more shocking, it wasn't from most of the offspring were not from males that were also in the community. So the females are out going to the edge of the community and having and having sex with males from outside of the community. All of the researchers, they had no idea.
It kills the concept of alpha male, right?
It does, I know. It's like, what is he getting himself all upset about? But
all that drama over nothing.
I know, all of the because there are repercussions for females that are flaunting having sex in front of, with
Yeah.
another male in front of the alpha. You see all those things on YouTube, all the clips.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, this is really. But then when you get down to it, it's like, wow, this is very interesting.
Yeah.
So even in our chimp family, we find it doesn't quite work that way. We don't have passive, submissive females. There's something else going on. And then if you look at bonobos basically are a female-run, community.
Yeah.
That and they think that it has to do with a difference in food supply. That where the bonobos grew, where their niche was, there was a lot of abundant food. Where chimps were still reliant on strength and somebody go and get the food and bring it to it. But with the bonobos, it was easy. And so because it was easy, the females had a lot of time to bond with each other, and they basically have created a culture in which the males are not allowed to be aggressive to any of the females or the infants or the young. Because the females will gang up with each other and go after the guy.
Okay.
So it sounds like some things that are happening now with, I think, the Pink Sari Brigade in India.
Yeah.
But it's so here we have two examples of way before human, and you see that there
Well,
are
there's the essence without the kind of cultural thing so much.
right
Yeah.
without the thinking and so
Yeah.
forth, and you have two very different cultures.
Yeah.
That have produced very different ways of relating and very different attributes, you could say. So it's like if you realize, wow, culture is that deep. And also, I mean, even going into human amongst humans, that there's an assumption that because testosterone is kind of the font of aggression, in which women also have. Which we often forget about when we think about testosterone. But what research shows is that in cultures where men are responsible for caretaking, that T levels are way down.
Wow. So they're responsive to what's being used, as opposed to what's actually biologically innate.
Exactly. So innate is a very flexible context. It's innate in what context,
Yeah.
and that's so exactly. So that when you have a culture where the males are very important to child rearing, which they think in prehistory, in some of these, the very first, Homo sapiens that were kind of coming out of the savannah. That there was a real need for shared caretaking, and there was probably the kind of sense of testosterone drive doesn't really become part of human culture until we get warrior tribes, and then it's not simply that we have males who are aggressive. Anybody who can do it is aggressive.
Yeah.
So in the UK you've got. What I can't. I don't think I'll pronounce her name properly, but Boudica. Boudica. She's the Celtic warrior queen, who I think defended the Celtic tribes from the Romans. It's the ethos is might makes right. Everybody's surging with testosterone, or is in some submissive position, trying to make sure that no one hurts them.
Yeah.
But that's the ethos for the entire culture.
Yeah.
So it's not just a male thing.